muted yet. All right, now. I guess we are all in. We're about 30 seconds early. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Heard.
Yeah.
So we're just going to sit here for a second and see when the lives go out as usual. Hopefully people start jumping
I was going to say there's 3 people, but that's us.
3 people, that's us. Let's see here. I guess we are live, so we can just go ahead and start. So I can find the banner deal. Andrew's gonna shoot me. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and go with this. It is 8 o'clock on the dot, as we always do. I am John. I am a third of the Brothers Newland, and as you can tell, there's only 2 of us here. Andrew has to sit out due to the Texas freeze and everything that happened a few weeks ago and having to move again. And, of course, we have Michael.
Yep. Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing? Yep. And we do have a guest this week, like we should have every week. We've got Mr. Caleb down there. He is a big collector and gamer, and we are glad to have him on this week with us. So
yeah,
talk to him about this. This is collector showcase. Just kind of talk to him about his collecting habits and what he does and all that kind of good stuff. So
awesome.
All right. So Caleb, just give us a little bit of your background with what got you started in collecting and how long you've been doing it and why and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's called being bad with money, Michael. Okay. And, that happens sometimes for most of us,
yeah.
But, no, probably back when I was about 16 or so, I was an avid gamer. I was really, my passion and pride and stuff was like, I want to get into the games industry. I want to do all this stuff that I'm seeing all the time and, watching all these shows and, looking at it online and stuff about news. At that time, it wasn't something that was reachable for me in my mind. I was like, if it happens, it happens. But then I continuously just I was playing so many video games. And one of those games that really, really made me want to do something in the games industry was playing Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1 right after it launched, 1997. It was just like groundbreaking for me. So then slowly but surely I started building my collection on video games. And then one thing led to another, and I kind of did this whole fake it till you make it type thing, telling someone that I was older than what I was, telling them I was 18. And I was like, I just want to try to do it, type up stuff, do whatever, podcast and so on and so forth. And then I started writing for a small site here in Texas. And then one thing led to another. Eventually ended up running my own site with a good couple of amazing people for a good chunk of years. And as I was doing that, just slowly but surely started building a really cool collection of stuff, not just, pops, but video game figures, maps, centralized mainly around what I really loved, certain games. Probably my largest section of collecting is Dragon Ball Z, because that's just, don't mess with me about Dragon Ball. If I hear anybody try to come at me and say Dragon Ball's not a good show, we're going to have severe problems. But that's basically where my collection kind of started. I love video games, and I was like, man, as you guys know, it went from, toys that we used to have as kids. Like I remember back in the early 90s and stuff when they started releasing, Dragon Ball figures and stuff. And I started collecting Gundam figures because Gundam was like the thing to get.
Yeah.
If you didn't have Gundam figures at your house whenever I was going to school in Palestine, it was like, my little whatever, I guess, group of friends was like, you don't have a Gundam figure, you don't have nothing. So I started getting that. And I think one of the things that really made me kind of click in my mind of wanting to do collecting was one Christmas we got the anniversary G.I. Joes, I think, or maybe it was G.I. Joes. I don't really know, but it was like full like figures that were almost like the big G.I. Joes, but it was like Star Wars. And it was like Han Solo and Darth Vader. Y'all will probably have a little bit more knowledge of exactly what set that was in or so, but I had Han Solo, and at that age, I just took it out of the box, and I'm like, yeah, I got Han Solo. And my brother was really serious. He was like, don't mess with my Darth Vader. Don't mess with him. Don't touch him. Well, he went to my dad's for the weekend and took him out of the box.
Oh, wow.
And he was so mad. And when he told me, he was like, I wanted to keep him in the box. And I'm like, why? And he was like, because like it was like a collectible item. I'm like, collectible? It's a toy. What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean collectible? So then I kind of started thinking about it, and just slowly but surely over the years got a little bit more serious about it. So that's how my collection slowly grew into what it is, of more centralized around what I love, like Star Wars and gaming, and some of my anime series that I just really fell in love with, not just in my childhood, but in my adult years. So
yeah, Nerdy Curious says it's a toy. Famous last words.
It's a toy. I remember I was like, it's just a toy. What's the big deal? Like, why are you tripping?
That's all you think about when you're a kid.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any other. I mean, I am a new collector.
Yeah.
To the arts of it, and I don't collect anything because most of the stuff that we had as kids, if I got my hands on it, I tore it apart.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how to tear it apart, how to put it back together. If I couldn't put it back together, oh well. So I think they learned to keep their stuff out of my hands. But it as now it's collectors. It's a collectible.
Yeah.
Well, dang, if I would have thought about that as a kid, I'd have some pretty good collection.
Yeah. I think that's how it was with me as well, because there was a good chunk of stuff that I had when I was younger that I just thought, oh well, this is just a toy. And of course you look at it now, and I'm like, I cannot tell you how many of those so-called toys that I buried in sand in Grapeland at my dad's house. Of like, we would go out there with like my Gundam. I remember like when I was in 6th grade, I would go out there with the disposable cameras, and I would get my Gundam and like stick them in the sand, and then like pour sand down, and then take a picture with my like disposable camera. And I remember going and like taking it and printing. I was like, that's so cool. Look at that. It's like off of the anime.
You got the action shots going on there.
Yeah. But like, some of those ones that I just, was careless about. I found out later that they probably would have cost a lot. Like I have one pop in my collection. I have multiple pops in my collection that if I would have left in the box, they probably would have been a lot more expensive. But yeah. I'm the type of collector, like I don't like leaving my pops in the box. Like I really like taking them out because I appreciate the detail and stuff that's been put into them. But I bought, I was kind of into The Walking Dead, but I bought a pop of the Herschel when he had lost his leg. He's on crutches, and it's headless Herschel. So like you could pull his head off, and it's like magnetized and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh, this is a really cool pop. But that's one that Bolts always brings up anytime we talk about my collection. He's like, do you know how much that pop, like in mint condition and stuff, is going for? Like you could have sold that thing for like $200-$300. And I'm like, I don't care. I got them because I like them. I didn't get them because I would like eventually want to sell them. Yeah. So that's the one bad thing that my wife has brought up. Like if we eventually ever move, it's going to be so horrible trying to get all this stuff in there, because when we moved over here, I remember I had a original release Vegeta pop with the Scouter and everything. And it was like, I just loved that pop. I loved the look of Vegeta from like the, early seasons of Dragon Ball Z, how amazing it looked. And I remember taking it out of the box when we moved into this house, and there's a scratch on his face. And it's like a black scratch right here. And I was so mad. I was so mad. And then Bolts, when he was taking stuff back here, he's like, if you would have left it in the box, it wouldn't have been scratched. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. So out of box, in box collector. I mean, we've gone back and forth. Andrew's talked about it. There's a lot of detail that an inbox collector can't see the back of the figures that have a lot of details to it. So it's kind of a toss up. But do you not want to see the details to it, or do you see it? So
there's a couple of pop culture lines of Hot Wheels that that I collect, and they have just started the last couple of years. They'll have pop culture scenes on the side of them, like a Star Wars. They have if they bring out a Star Wars set, one side would have a picture on one side, another one has a different picture, and you can't see that unless you open it up and look at it, because you have the card back on the other side. You can never see that, so you have to open it up to see both sides of it, or you don't get to see that. Yeah.
Kind of like Nerdy Curie said, collecting for collecting is more rewarding for the soul. Collecting to sell is rewarding for the wallet. It depends on what your priorities are.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I know all mine are for me. It's not for other people. I don't plan on reselling anything I got. If they go anywhere, it's probably going to be to my brothers. So
yeah, that's how it is with me too. It was more or less like just the overall collection of each one of these figures that I have, I look at, and that's the one thing for me, is that I can look at each one of these and automatically have like a memory of like where I got it or why I bought it. Like for the most part, some of these items like I bought just because I was like, oh, that one's cool. But some of the other ones, like I have a collector's edition Killzone 2 or Killzone 3 helmet. I don't know if it was Killzone 2, Killzone 3, but it's from Guerrilla Games. It's a fantastic video game, one of my favorite PlayStation exclusive series of all time. But it was always a collector's edition I wanted, because it's a giant helmet that has the hooks from it, and the Hellgast were the enemies in there, and they couldn't breathe properly, and they were just these kind of really jerky people, but they had a really cool look. They had these ventilation masks on there, and it made their voice kind of sound like Bane.
Yeah.
I really,
huh?
Is that the green one?
Bane?
No, the mask that you're talking
no,
about.
it is actually the one like right below the Batman versus Superman statue on that picture. I don't know if you could see that the way I sent it in that picture or not, but it's a gray helmet with like orange eyes, and you can see pipes and stuff coming out. Pipes, ventilation, whatever coming out of it. Pipes. It was a really cool collector's edition that came with like a book and all this other stuff, but it sold out so fast. I wasn't able to get it. And I was really upset. Yeah. The one down on, the one on the very bottom, that one right there. Yes, that's it. I wasn't able to get it, and I was so irritated. I was so mad and so upset. And eventually, it popped up on GameStop.com, and I worked at GameStop for roughly 10 years. And, on the website, for some reason, it was like super cheap. I mean, it was like $50 for the collector's edition. So after I used my employees' discount and stuff, I got it for like $20. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, bro. This is going to get canceled or something. But it eventually ended up coming in, which GameStop does that sometimes. And they'll clear out or clearance out some of their collectibles. It was just, I remember just the thought of that game and how much I loved it. And when I saw that I could get that collector's edition, I was like, I gotta have it, bro, because that's just one of those memories that I have. It's kind of like with Michael. That was weird calling you Michael. I always call him Newland. It's kind of like with Michael. I remember whenever I first kind of showed him my collection and stuff, he showed me. I was like, I got a pretty big collection. He's like, yeah, so
yeah.
He's like, yeah. And then he showed me his. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you can see his behind him still. So
Yeah. So, but it's almost kind of like Michael. Like my gaming knowledge and stuff is just vast. Like there's so many times that I'll be talking to somebody about video games, or somebody will ask me a question about video games, and I bring it up. But that's the type of love and passion that I have. You know, it's just like with you guys, you collect this stuff because not just because you're like, I just want a bunch of stuff. You know, it's because you just really love what y'all are into, and that's the same thing with this. You know, it's just a cool thing to have.
So going into this, so you're a video game item collector. You're not a video game collector because you don't have video games.
Okay, so I used to be a video game collector.
Okay.
And when the PlayStation 3 came out, it was, you know, as hard, actually, I guess a little less hard as it is now to get a PS5. But I remember when the PS3 came out, I was able to snag one on launch day. Don't even know how, because there was people driving from Houston, Dallas, Austin, everybody just to get it. And they were only limiting those stores at that time, like 6 a store. It was really hard to get one. But I remember the day that the PS3 dropped, I spent roughly like $2,000. And it was the console, extra controller, all the launch titles, the PlayStation Eye camera, all this stuff. So I built up a really good collection. I had most of the main big titles for the PlayStation 3. And then I was young and got in a really weird relationship and was like, if I sell all this, I'll have enough money to, like, you know, take her on a really good date and do all this other stuff. And that's exactly what I did. I sold all of my games, my entire console and everything. And I look back at that moment and was like, how stupid are you? Because most of the stuff that I had, I'm sure is the same way y'all do. Like, I kept those games at that time in really good condition.
Right.
And my console as well. You know, the PlayStation 3 Fat, the original one, was very shiny, very like a metallic look to it, so it could scratch very easily. But like, I had it in a certain area, like it can't be touched. And now still those consoles, the original Fat ones that had backwards compatibility, will go upwards to like $300 to $400 depending on how you know, of course, the quality and whatever. But I used to really collect heavily on physical disc games, but now it's just digital. Like we've moved into that new era of things, and it's more or less that I just find it ease of use, especially with my demonic children.
Right, which is what me and Andrew have talked about. Who's not here. It's easier for him and me to do digital because our kids destroy everything. Michael, who on the other hand has no kids, so
physical.
He doesn't know the pain,
the physical stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like that. You know, I like the physical collection as well. Like,
right.
I don't know if I sent one of the pictures or not, but I have an arcade that has about 45,000 games on it. And a guy in Grapeland, a good friend of mine, actually built the arcade. And it used to be full cabinet and everything, but I had it in an apartment complex across town, and it was upstairs. So as long as it was upstairs,
you can kind of see
that's
it. I'm guessing that's this it right here.
Yeah, it's the one on the bottom, and I cannot believe I didn't send that picture. But the joysticks and everything are actually sitting on a replica N64 logo, and it's like a giant wooden N64 logo that I bought online for like $300 as a table, as a coffee table for some reason. But that's how I look at my like physical games, because I mean, I have on that arcade, I have, you know, I can't tell you how many arcade games I have, but I have the entire collection of Atari 2600, Atari, you know, 5200. I got I think regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, I think Sega Saturn, N64, and I mean the MAME arcade that I have on there. It's got, I mean, I can't tell you how many arcade games are on there, but I look at that as that's my nostalgia, you know. But like on my digital library is upwards to like 700 games, I think. Now it does help though, you know. I do. Outside of me and Newland being, you know, coworkers and stuff, my outside gig is video game journalism and podcasting. I've been doing that since, like I said earlier, since I was about 16. And I work for a website now called Cinelinks.com, and it's a fantastic website. They do really awesome original content. We actually have a game that I'm going to purchase and eventually let, you know, Michael try it out. We have a card game called Cinelinks, and it's basically like dominoes, but it's set like movies. So if, you know, you like match up actors with the correct movies, and then you can kind of do like, you know, chicken leg, but with movie or like actors and characters and scenes and stuff like that. And, but whenever I started working for them, I had already been doing stuff for a long time with games industry stuff, but we did it all ourselves. It's kind of like what you guys are doing with Toy Rewind. I did a lot of work for a lot of different people on small sites. I worked for one of the largest privately owned video game websites in the United States, and then broke off to another website, created my own website with a guy named Jason Bellick, and Rebecca Ash and Jeremy, who goes by the name Toaster McGee, which I think you guys would be like perfect friends, Michael. But we started all that because we were like, I'm tired of working for these sites. And I want to do something that's like by podcasters. Like I want us to have a different outlook on things instead of it just being like cookie cutter. Hey, we're video game journalists and we could do this. We need to share our own opinion and not just a written form, but audio form, you know? So we eventually started the podcast network and did that for a while. And then 2018 or 2017, a lot of the people were gone, and it was down to just like me, TJ Bolts, us doing a bunch of original content with Grillin' and Chillin', the Drunk Gamer Bros, all kinds of stuff, doing workhorse stuff, like having 15 different series and uploading them every single week. Because just being passionate about doing that stuff. I mean, we on Grillin' and Chillin', we would start the video out just grilling steaks or certain, you know, entrees. And then in the middle of the video, we would talk about, you know, video game news that was coming about. And then at the end, we would play a video game. So it was a really bunch of cool stuff. But then eventually I ended up starting to work for Cinelinks, and, you know, just like a month, 2 months after working for them, they were like, hey man, you know, you've gone to a lot of different really big events before. Do you want to go cover E3 for us? You know, the Electronic Game Expo. And I was like, yes. I was like, you know, I felt like it was like a marriage thing. I was waiting to see a ring pop up. I was like, yes, yes, I'll do it.
That's perfect.
It's perfect. So I went and covered the Electronic Game Expo, and it was kind of, honestly, it's kind of sad now because the Electronic Game Expos at this point in time is just in a really weird way. You know, 2018's E3 was probably one of the last ones to be a normal E3. You had the big companies, Sony, Nintendo, Xbox, they were all there. And I really got to kind of show out and do a lot of cool stuff. And I've met a lot of people in the industry over the some odd years that I've been doing it, and a lot of them were there. I made great connections and did some good work for Cinelinks. And the next year, it just felt weird. Like in 2019, Sony was gone. A bunch of these other really big name people didn't show up. And then, you know, of course, COVID hit, and it's been cancellation after cancellation after cancellation. They canceled their new event that was supposed to be going on this year, and it's crazy. But I'm really lucky. This long-winded thing that I just did, I apologize about. I'm really lucky because I do get to review video games. So there's a lot of times that, you know, the video games that I want to review, I get free codes for. I just have to put in the work for it. I have to put in the work for it. And Jordan, who co-founded Cinelinx, is just amazing. He's such a great boss. And Matt Malayaris, or Matt Quad C, is amazing as well. It really got my start start back up in the industry of being able to do the content creation and stuff that I do. But it's very nice. It's nice to be able to be appreciated and stuff like that with the accessibility of having connections with these really large name companies, being able to play these games early and share our reviews and stuff like that. So I think that's the reason why my collection is as large as it is on digital. So,
all right. Well, you
Cool.
sent some pictures to us.
Yeah.
Let's go through
And I'm going to
those
guess
pictures.
some of these now. I also
Bolts.
want to put out there your podcast, the Second Opinion podcast,
yes, sir.
that you do that. And
Yeah.
you're the owner of Second Opinion Productions.
Yes, Second Opinion Productions was the generalistic name that we started when we did our podcast network. It was originally, the quote was, Second Opinion Productions, taking over the globe one podcast at a time. And then we moved it to Second Opinion Productions, gaming is our passion and podcasting is our profession. Because, we probably had, I think, 6 different podcasts under the Second Opinion Productions name, and we would just help them get connections and interview people. And we've been very lucky to interview some really big people in the industry. Even with Cinelinx, being able to interview, Pete Hines, who is the VP of Bethesda, Hugo and Marty Stratton from id Software. As far as even interviewing, the voice of Commander Shepard from Mass Effect, and doing all different types of stuff. And it seemed, hopefully, from the way things are going, we're going to get back into that and start interviewing some really big name people in the industry. So, but this is Katie Cake Bites, who is our games editor. And she is, I'm telling you, bro, as I said on the show, she is one of the hardest working women that I've ever met in my entire life. She really does amazing content and stuff. And I felt bad on the show, actually on episode 320, I was talking about her and I said, she's a freaking workhorse, man, but she's more like a work pony because she's like 4 foot tall. So, I mean, she's like down here, and I was like, please don't kill me for saying that. But this is Bolts. He's a soon to be former coworker of mine at our place of employment. But we also we met 15 some odd years ago, worked together at GameStop, and just type of brothers from another mother has always been there. And but this is the Cinelinx logo, Mr. Lynx. But that was actually at E3 of 2019.
Was it 2019? That's what I was wondering, where some of these pictures came from.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Because,
exactly which ones.
I'm sure some of these coming up as we get into them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me find out where I'm at on your pictures.
Yeah, if you see one with me in a towel, just don't put it on the screen. Just delete it.
We don't want to see that. No.
Try not to blind anybody, bro.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe you said this was Bolts with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was that was at E3 2019 as well. That was at the EA Play Access event, which was really cool. EA Play is an event that they do to where it's kind of open to the public. You get to go in there and check out some of the latest EA games. And that in 2019 in Hollywood, they had it set up to where there was they were trying to promote FIFA, so they had all these semi-pro players over there playing in yard FIFA, they're kicking the ball around. They're like, I'm like, oh, that's cool, I guess. But the craziest thing about this event, the wildest thing, there's all these big games. It was actually, and I think both y'all really like Star Wars, correct?
Yeah.
It was in 2019. They showed off the first gameplay for Jedi Fallen Order. And it was really cool. We had a scheduled appointment to sit down and see. We were some of the first people to see this new gameplay of Jedi Fallen Order, and it was great because I mean, I was like, this is what people are showing up for, right? Like, I mean, this or Battlefield 5, like this has got to be what people are showing up for. So we went in there and watched it, and I mean, it was amazing. I came out of there, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for this game. It's going to be great. It's going to be so awesome. And I hear all these people cheering and stuff. And I look at Bolts, I'm like, it's got to be that they're cheering for this. And I turn and look, and there's like, I'm not kidding you, bro. There's like, there's like 50 or 60 people all surrounded in this giant crowd by the stage. So I'm like, well, what's going on? Is it like celebrity or something over there? Which a lot of times at these events, there's always celebrities popping around. So we go over there just to look and, you know, take pictures and stuff. And it's this presentation for The Sims. And like the reason why they're freaking out is they're like this woman that's on stage. She's like, that's right. Mermaids are coming to The Sims. And I'm serious. There's probably at least 20 16 to 18-year-old girls that are down at the bar, and they're freaking out, bro. I mean, they are freaking out. They're like, oh my God, mermaids are coming to The Sims. And I looked at Bolts and I was like, hey, bro, to each their own. I mean, I'm glad they're excited about it, but like, bro, these people were tripping. I did not expect everyone to be so excited about The Sims.
Wow.
This is Hip Hop
Right.
Gamer. He is Gerard Williams is his normal name. He works for Hot 97 FM, one of the largest R&B hip hop radio stations in New York. Been a really good friend of mine for extremely like in a really, really long time. We met years ago, and at E3 2019, we were just kind of walking around. We were in between appointments. I think we had just got done checking out the first gameplay of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And I'd sat down and played Call of Duty Mobile with some of the devs for a bit. And I was like, man, let's go walk around, take some pictures before we go to our next thing. And I saw hip hop in this blocked in area. And I was like knocking on the window. I was like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? He was like, get in here. So I was in there talking to him and his wife, and he was like, no, you ain't leaving. Sit down. So we sat down and did this really cool interview. And it's a really cool interview. I think he's showing the chat right now.
Yeah, Nerdy Curious said 2019 was a nice year.
It was. It was a very nice year.
Yes.
But it was really cool because it was really cool because we sat down and did this like 50 minute session with, I mean, there was like 2-3 cameras set. And, you know, the guy told me beforehand, he's like, all right, when you look up and you see this right here, if it goes red, look at the other camera. And, you know, that one will go green. But then when this one goes red, look back at the other camera. And I was like, okay, so they mic'd me up and we did this little session talking about some of the best things at E3. There were people standing out there watching us while we were doing it. And hip hop was like, hey, man, I want you to do me a favor. You know, they saved all the stuff on this hard drive, or they're about to save all this stuff on the hard drive. Can you take it with you and transfer it to your laptop or whatever, and then email it to me? And I was like, yeah, I got you, bro. Well, I don't know what happened, but of course, you know, it falls on me. He transfers this stuff to the hard drive, and I don't know if it got corrupted or something like that at some point in time, but it only saved like half of the video. And I'm at the hotel in Los Angeles, and I'm going through it, and I'm like, why is there only half of the video on here? So I email him. I'm like, bro, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened or whatever else. And of course, in his normal style, he was like, listen, bro, it's not a big deal. God's watching out for us. You know, we're going to do something else even bigger and better next year. Just send me what you got. I'll share it, whatever. And I'm telling you, like, he's one of the most humble dudes I've ever met in the entirety I've ever been in the games industry. I mean, he, no matter who you or like where he is position wise, he always remembers who was there for him and whatever else. But he's just a great guy, man. And he's done some really great interviews as well. If y'all get a chance to check him out, check out Hip Hop Gamer on YouTube. He's very passionate about Street Fighter. So like, don't argue with him about Street Fighter, because he will tell you that you're wrong.
I checked, not knowing who he was.
Yeah.
You know, shame on me, but I did check out his Instagram after we got all your stuff, and I was going through several and listening to some of the interviews and just him talking and stuff about the games and the passion and stuff that he has. Yeah. He seemed really down to earth and really cool to go with, you know, listen to and everything.
Yeah, he really is.
Let's see here.
He actually did a really cool interview with Brie Larson, sit down face-to-face interview with Brie Larson about Kong Skull Island and talking about video games and stuff like that. And I think she talked about how much she loves Zelda. So
Zelda's where it's at. We'll get into that a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see here. I think I got
Next
one
picture.
more of one of the deals. Let's see if I can find the right deal. And
Yeah. This is when I had hair. This was this was PAX East 2013. This is around the announcement of Diablo 3 coming to console. And it was a really great event as usual. I was actually working as a brand ambassador for Games as well. Games is a company that builds, screens into, cases. I think you remember me having those for a little bit, Michael. I would bring it up there to work, but you strap your PlayStation or Xbox into it, and then you just literally close it up, take it wherever you want to, open it, plug it, and play, and have a bunch of new form factors and stuff. I think it's spelled GAEMS, but worked for them as a brand ambassador, and we were doing some work here and there, but we did camera work here, and this was Matthew Ronan, or the Ninja. Jeremy's cousin, and Skelly was on camera, and it was a really cool event. I mean, it was probably one of my fondest memories of working in the games industry. We did a lot of really cool content. Anytime we had a scheduled appointment, we would set our camera up, do our interviews, and it was just, man, it was one of those moments that I was like, man, I love doing what I'm doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, John, you got. We're almost up to 20 minutes left. You want to get? We'll get into the collections.
yeah, let's
his
get into
collection
the
picks
actual.
and kind of look and see what he's got.
We'll go through these pictures.
You'll probably be able to point some stuff out more than me. I told you beforehand. I was like, I don't know the names of them.
Well, this is a wide view that you sent us.
Yes.
So just to kind of show.
Yeah.
I think I can scroll through these easier.
There you go.
And kind of go into.
Yeah. So most of the stuff up top is, as I said, it's themed more around Fallout, and then I have Dragon Ball, kind of stretched across over 3 shelvings. But this, the one that you point out right now, that's like the holy grail. That's, that's like the Doom is just one of those games, and I got a really, really close and personal relationship with id Software. I've done some game testing and stuff for them before. And all those items in there, just, you got Wolfenstein, BJ Blazkowicz, the Doomslayer. They're like the fathers of the first person shooter genre. And then they came out with all these pops, for the first Doom game. But I had to, of course, just keep adding to the collection. Most of those plushies and stuff are from QuakeCon, which I've gone to for about 12 years now. And then the stuff below it is Dishonored and Rage items, which are from Bethesda as well. As you can tell, I'm a Bethesda fanboy. I'm sorry about some of the stuff that's all fallen over, some of the gaps. And then the bottom shelf is just, some, fan stuff. Now that squid chick, I have no clue like what her name is. It's an anime that my wife used to watch, and we went somewhere. I think we went to the GameStop Expo back in 2012, and I got her that, and she never had a place to put it. So I was like, well, I'll just put it on my shelf. But of course, Destroy All Humans Collector's Edition and the Witcher 3 Pop game series, which are really good. Now above that, I didn't take a very good picture of it, but that's a full replica helmet from Fallout. Okay. As another thing that I really wanted to get when it first came out, but GameStop again was like, we got to get rid of this. So they marked it down super cheap and I bought it. But then Dragon Ball again, of course, some really fantastic pops in that line to the Vegeta to the right. The red one is when Vegeta was training as hard as possible. And his gravity was up by like 10,000, which was crush us. But the next line is Elder Scrolls items. I got the Alduin, that's flying in over to the right-hand side. And then the collector's edition to the left, the collector's figure to the left is from Elder Scrolls Online. It was one of the first, I think it was the first collector items for the ESO series. And in the middle, I got, Dovahkiin from Skyrim, and that little ticket that's in front of him is actually from the Bethesda press conference at E3 of 2019. So I usually always save most of those little items as part of my collection as well.
Yeah, I was curious about the statue
bottom.
to the left there. It looks like I kind of, when I first looked at it, kind of looked like Steppenwolf kind of at first.
Yeah, it does kind of look like Steppenwolf. He's actually I forget, of course, his name, but he's a demon lord from the Elder Scrolls series. So they each time they come out with a new collector's edition for Elder Scrolls Online, it always comes with like a copper or golden type of statue. It's a really, really cool collection, and they usually come with, I think that one actually came with a leather bound book that has really cool pages. Hang on real quick. I think I have it. No, never mind. It's somewhere else. Whatever. But it's really cool stuff, and I mean that's the type of stuff I add to my collection as well. So.
What's that bottle? You said something about
the bottle is that's another thing from E3. It was there's a race. There's a race in the game that is there's a race in the game called the Khajiit, and they're like cat people, and they're basically merchants. But they came out with a soda, and it was done by Jones Soda. Okay. And they actually, Jones Soda did one for Fallout as well, and it was like Nuka-Cola. But they came out with that one. It was exclusive at E3 2019 at the Bethesda Land press event, and they were just giving them out. They're like, "Hey, you want a Khajiit soda?" And I was like, "Yes, I have to save this bottle." And it was delicious. I'm sure.
I was about to ask how good it was. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. That's another one of those collectible things. Like I'm sure there's somebody who's like, "Why would you open it?" I'm like, "Because it's soda. I'm drinking it." Like
you need to know what it tastes like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The next one is kind of. I'm a big DC fan. I think there's a lot of times DC gets snubbed. Like Marvel, I love Marvel. I mean, I love everything about Marvel, but you don't you can tell from most of my collection pictures, like you see some Marvel stuff, but not a lot. But Batman and Superman are just like those pivotal characters that it was all about my childhood. The original Batman animated series, like Kevin Conroy, oh my God. And I mean, just he is Batman. So I had to get these pops to add to it. That statue to the right is from Injustice: Gods Among Us. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan and NetherRealm fan, but when they brought out Injustice, I had to have that. And of course, the one to the left is another one that I got for a super cheap deal. It's a really fantastic Batman versus Superman statue from the movie for Ben Affleck's Batman, and that thing usually went for like $200-something, and I think I paid $50. Nice. It was another markdown on that. Yeah, it's a really great deal. The next one, that hole is actually this right here. This is something I was talking to you guys about before. This is a figure for a video game that has not yet come out yet. It's for Dying Light 2.
Oh.
It's on my tech land. Yeah, you're like, you're done. Get out of the show. It's my tech land, and
this is what we need Andrew for to make sure we get
right.
There
you go. There's only a total of 1,500 of these statues made. And his name is Aiden. He's the lead character. He's the lead character in the game, and we got to check out Dying Light 2's gameplay last year. And whenever we were leaving, or when we were walking in, they were like, "Hey, wait a second, don't forget your bag." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I grabbed it, and I was like, well, I looked at both. I was like, "This is that statue, bro. This is the statue that I was telling you about." So they just gave us the statue, and what was sad and weird about it is that the game ended up getting put on indefinite hold. But now, actually, this week, they're going to finally announce some news about the game. The possibility of, there's rumors that Xbox is about to buy them as a studio. So it could end up being an Xbox exclusive.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but anyways, back to the collection. You know, I had the Killzone helmet, the Uncharted figure, Dark Souls 3 figure, and then I had the random figures. So you know, Funko always comes out with like really great pops, and they had the I guess the Sludge He-Man, and then they had the Dungeons and Dragons cube that I had to get, and a couple other random pops I got for my wife. I cannot remember what show it's from. Of course, I don't know why. It's from a cartoon movie that came out in the 90s, and she loved it. But anyways, that's Assassin's Creed figures and Watch Dogs. It was just collector's editions of games that I thought were good. Now these are more Dragon Ball, as I said, a Dragon Ball freak. I got the Fallout stuff at the top. I got this little map that you can see in the background. It's actually a collector's edition map that came when you bought Skyrim, but I actually burned all the edges to make it look even older and stuff. And I always thought it was a cool thing, so I hung it on the wall. But this is another type of situation. Like I'm a big collector, but like if I can get a good deal on something, then I'm going to get a good deal on something. So like that Broly in the middle with his hand sticking up, that statue when it first launched was like $150, and a customer of mine at GameStop, I mean, 2 years after I stopped working there, they came out with Dragon Ball Super Broly, which was this fantastic movie, a retelling of Broly, and they came out with these statues. And I have no clue why, but he just hit me up. He was like, "Hey, man, I got some Dragon Ball stuff I'm wanting to sell." I was like, "Okay, well, how much for the Broly?" And he's like, $20. And I was like,
Wow.
"What?"
Yeah.
I was like, "It's mine." But, you got Dragon Ball, more Dragon Ball. These are from some of the ones right here in this middle section are from some of the newest series. You got Majin Vegeta, original Super Saiyan Goku. You got Evil Boo to the right, powered up Vegeta, and then Gohan. And the middle one is a series of I think that Bolta got me, and it's like battle something, and it's to where you like connect them together, and you can't see it, but I actually like. I was putting it together and Dante came up, my son, and grabbed it and snapped Goku's head off.
Oh,
and I was so mad, but I was like, I'm not going to get mad. He's a kid. So I got a little bit of glue and kind of put it on there here and there and clicked it in. But
Vance is always responding to one of the comments about the other statue getting it for $20.
Yes, it was a very good deal. I was really lucky. But then you could see here, this is my little Marvel versus Capcom area. So Marvel versus Capcom was a really good game that was brought out by Capcom. I love Street Fighter, but I love Marvel as well. So some of these I got, of course I had to get Thanos after he had already destroyed the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
But like that giant 10-inch Hulk from Thor Ragnarok, I got him for I think it was like $12.
Wow.
New in the box. So if I find deals, I'm going to take it. Now this area down here on the bottom, like below it, it's so. I'm embarrassed by these photos. There was a girl that was moving out of town. And she had a huge pop collection, really huge pop collection. She sold me the pop collection for like, I think $30. And I mean, it was a ton of pops. And, it was, these Futurama pops at the bottom, the Dig Dug pop, all the Sonics, Pac-Man, a few of them here and there. And, but the boxes were horrible. I mean, she said, "Now listen, the boxes are really bad. My ex used to smoke a lot. So when I got them, they were they were like dark gray. I mean, they were just horrible. So I actually had to soak most of them because they smelled like, smoke."
Wow.
But
definitely do that. Yeah.
Well, I know the Pac-Man one stuck out to me and Michael.
I like Pac-Man.
I like all the Sonic ones for sure.
Yeah, you can see back there. You can see back there by Raiden. For some reason, there is a There's a death claw from Fallout back there, which should be up top. And obviously he fell, and my son came in there and moved it, and that's why Sonic is like that. And I'm looking at it now in my collection. It's really irritating me. But you got BioShock down here at the bottom. That Songbird goes for really high now. Now that pop to the left or that Funko to the left and that Funko little sister down there at the bottom. I cannot remember the series that they're in. I think it's Dorbs or something like that.
It looks like Dorbs.
Yeah. So I could not get the Big Daddy from the Funko Pop series. Now I don't know if y'all have ever played BioShock, but Big Daddies are basically the overseers of these little sisters, and that Funko Pop was what I really wanted. But whenever I got the Dorbs, I was like, it's good enough.
All right.
And then I got the little Star Wars section.
Yeah.
Same thing with Baby Yoda, the 10-inch Baby Yoda. I got it for super cheap. I don't even know why, but they had it listed for super cheap. But now a lot of these at the front are newer. The golden Darth Maul. Yeah, the golden Maul. Darth. Of course, I would forget his name. Is it Darth? It's not Darth Revan. But most of these I got new, and from the Mandalorian series here and there.
Mhm.
Now this is another one of those little issues. You can see back there behind. You can see back there by R2-D2. You can see that Boba. Now that's an original series Funko Pop Boba, and supposedly it goes for really high dollar now. Like if it's mint condition in the box. I didn't know that. I didn't care.
An original R2-D2 as well?
Yeah, R2-D2, original Darth Vader and original Yoda.
Yeah, original Yoda. Yeah, you can tell by their head sculpts. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell by like Darth Vader's face. That's whenever they were doing that more kind of like flat look.
Yeah.
Where they just had rounded eyes. But that's one thing that I appreciate with Funko is that you can tell by like this Darth Vader over to the left that's getting, electrocuted by by Palpatine. You can tell the difference. You can tell how more detailed it is now compared to what it used to be. But you got Overwatch. That Overwatch is another thing I got super cheap. That was the Overwatch Collector's Edition statue. Came with a bronze statue. Came with a really large art book, and I think I got it from a friend of mine for like $15. And then the Overwatch figures and pops. The Gears series was a Gears Pop exclusive box, and it was at GameStop. It was a GameStop exclusive. They came out with a Gears Pop video game on mobile, and if you bought this, you got a hat, you got like an exclusive code, you got all these really cool pops and stuff in there. But another thing at GameStop, like if you watch out online and search for these things, you'll find really good deals. But I got that for like $10. Wow. It was still sealed in the box. Castlevania pops from the animated series. If you haven't watched it, I'm sure you guys played Castlevania back in the day.
Yep.
You got to watch that. And then you got Spyro the Dragon, Crash.
I like the Spyro.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot back there. Yeah.
Spyro is the OG. Now these ones at the bottom, it's another little random area. These two figures, the Minecraft figures and stuff I bought because me and my wife really played a lot of Minecraft. You can see the headless Herschel with the zombie behind him down there. Rick and Morty, regular show figures. And then I got that pop right there for my wife, and it was a really bad joke. I got that pop because that's Sadness from In and Out. Inside Out. Look, you made me say it too. I got Sadness. I got Sadness for my wife because I was like, I know this is really bad, but she really reminds me of you. And so she was like, I don't think that's funny. But then Predator. Now, Predator, Alien, and stuff like that. It is one of my favorite series of all time. You can't see it very well, but there's a Alien Colonial Marines Collector's Edition in the very back corner. It was supposed to be one of the best Alien games that ever came out. They showed off gameplay of it back in 2011. Me and Bolts were there for it and actually helped set up the event and everything. And the game was a bust. So these photos right here and stuff are actually some really cool prints and stuff that we found online. And we had that all hung up at our wedding. We had a really big gamer-themed wedding. We had a 3-tier Mario cake. We had 8 TVs with different consoles set up. It was just fantastic. I mean, it was really, really awesome. But we did. We also did. We did. My wife walked down the aisle with a Keyblade. So from Kingdom Hearts, and my preacher dressed up as Raiden from Mortal Kombat. So it was a cosplay wedding. It was really awesome, though. I'm not gonna lie.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But that poster right there was something I got a D3 as well. Now this is the other stuff. A few things to point out. Of course, the shield is a little different than John's.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. We've already critiqued it.
Yes.
Either way, I would like to have either one of them, if not both.
Yeah.
But you said your master sword is wood.
It's wood. It's wood. It was actually made on Etsy. And we got it, as I said, after my wife walked down the aisle with a Keyblade. She was like, I want to dress up as Link in a white with a white hat. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. So she had like a sundress that was her wedding dress, and she put on her little Link hat, and then she got these leather boots, and she had that shield, and she had that sword that she was walking around in. So but this stuff up here, the sword is Yamoto from it's Virgil's sword from Devil May Cry, collector's edition of Just Cause. Metal Gear Solid, more Metal Gear Solid stuff. That's the collector's edition. Really cool collector's edition, man. This is from Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, and it is it's a little replica handle of Raiden's sword. But when you plug it in to turn it on, it's one of the like electrical globes and stuff like that.
Cool.
So
yeah,
I saw that. I've been trying to figure out what that was. I was like,
it's really cool because like on the front of it, like the Metal Gear Metal Gear Rising Revengeance logo glows, and like electricity shoots all out. And you could touch your hand on it. You know, those things that we had when we were children. But the mirror at the bottom was a anniversary gift my wife gave me. It's a quote from Metal Gear Solid. And that picture back there next to that Metal Gear Rising Revengeance collector's edition is from PAX West 2013. Hideo Kojima was at the event, and I didn't get to go that year. And Toaster McGee like pulled, I mean, one of the biggest saves ever, and actually got the poster signed by the creator of Hideo of Metal Gear Solid. And that's like one of my prized possessions. And that jacket too. It's a Cyberpunk 2077 jacket that we got from CD Projekt Red at the event. And just a couple of more little knickknacks and patty wax.
Mario sitting right there.
Yeah, I got the the big Mario with a Call of Duty hat on. That's a little closer up. That little stuffed thing is from the Outer Worlds, which was a fantastic game by Obsidian.
All right, I'm gonna flip through these last couple of pictures because it's just showing some stuff we've already gone through.
Yeah,
I think we need to get you plugged where people can find you and listen to y'all and everything.
And I told you at the beginning I was really long-winded too, so.
Yeah, well, we're coming up on our hour mark.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to get you plugged. I know this picture has some, what is it? My daughter plays this game, the God of War.
Yeah, God of War.
Right there. So, but let's get you plugged in where they can listen to you, find you and everything. And then we'll be signing off here in a few minutes.
Yep. Well, as they both said, I am long-winded, but I do have my own podcast, and it's the Second Opinion Podcast. You can find it on Cinelinks.com. You can also find us over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, and many more. There's a lot of work that we do on SendItLeaks.com for content creation, but you can find me on Twitter as well at S0LEB, as my name says right here. You can find me on TikTok, S0LEB. I do a lot of content creation there as well, or on YouTube at just search Second Opinion Pro or Second Opinion Prod. I don't know what it is. Just no, it's Second Opinion Podcast. That's what it is. You search
There
Second
it
Opinion
is.
Podcast on YouTube and it'll pop up. On Instagram, it's Second Opinion Prod, like production. So
All right.
we do a lot of stuff.
All right. Well,
Cool,
we
cool.
definitely appreciate you coming on and showing off
Yeah.
your collection and
Of course.
and getting a little got you a little shout out to your stuff as well. So
Yeah.
All right.
but yeah,
I'll
we
I will
appreciate
give
that.
give the plug for us. Of course, I'm
Okay.
John. That's Michael.
Not Michael.
We are
Yeah.
2/3 of the Newlands Brothers with Toy Rewind Podcast. You can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Toy Rewind Pod. Everywhere else is Toy Rewind Podcast. So please check us out. And we will be signing off. We're going to raid over on Twitch to Andrew Noe and see what he's up to right now. So I'm going to get that together. Let's see. Maybe he's not on. I think he is.
I think Andrew said hi too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he jumped in. So let's see if I can get this done right.
Yeah, neither one of us are
Yeah,
computer
this is
literate
new
like
to-
Andrew is.
Hey, listen,
John's
anytime
a lot better than I am. I know that. So
anytime you guys want to come on the podcast with me and let me explain to you why Zelda is not the best video game in the world, then we can talk. John's
Well,
like,
we just
watch
have
your
a-
mouth.
we happened to sit down and we had the same shirt on. We
Yeah,
didn't
I
even
saw
plan
that.
We're just I'm all, what the heck?
saw that.
So
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see here.
I mean, Zelda's
Still
good.
trying to
You
do
know,
it.
don't get me wrong.
Andrew will probably
Yeah.
take us from Geek Together to over there. So as we raid over Geek Together raid with that one, if you're on our Toy Rewind site, then it's Toy Rewind raid, either one. And Andrew, I guess you could take that one. So
all right.
Peace.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, no problem, man.
we'll go from there.
All right.
We're
Are we
out.
there?
Play on, guys.
Play on. Yep.